माननीय सभासद, माननीय अध्यक्ष,
honorable members, I cordially welcome you all to the winter session of the Youth Parliament. I hope this session will be a very fruitful one as we set out to deliberate important matters concerning our nation. Today's first business is oath taking. Secretary General, please.
This re-election, who stands elected from this Kolan constituency of Kerala will take the oath or affirmation. Ms. Jalakshi, please. Madam, would you like to take the oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In English, please. I, Diyalakshmi PR, have been elected as a member of the lower house in Kollam constituency of the Youth Parliament, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
सभी लोग को बेंच पीटना है।
Ms. Gotika here, who stands elected from the Udyalpur constituency of Bihar will take the oath or affirmation. Ms. Gotika here, please.
Oath, please.
Madam, would you like to take the oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In English, please. I, Gopika GS, having been elected a member of the lower house of the Youth Parliament, do swear in the name of God that I will bear the true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter. Honorable members, as we meet today, it is my sad duty to inform the House of the demise of our former colleague, Sri Arun Nehru. Sri Arun Nehru was an agriculturist by profession and an active social worker. He worked in the rural areas, devoting his time and energy to the welfare of agricultural laborers and the uplift of the backward classes and the downtrodden. He was the president of Mazdoor Sabha of Mirzapur. An able parliamentarian and an effective orator, he took keen interest in the proceedings of the House. He passed away at Thiruvananthapuram on 21st January 2021 at the age of 35.
Speaker Madam, I would like to pay my tribute to Sri Arun Nehru,
whose death has been deeply mourned by all. He had been one of the sharpest minds in Indian politics, and during his parliamentary career, he actively participated in House proceedings and made valuable contributions for the society. He was a warm person who had dream and determination to get the nation to reach the heights of glory. He was an active socialist and an efficient political leader. He was a young man who came from a family of freedom fighters, and his father had made a name for himself. He was with us to the very last moment. He seemed to be well and happy, and therefore his shock of passing away is all the greater. I would like to extend my deep condolences to his family.
Speaker ma'am, I associate myself with the tribute paid by you and the leader of the House. I, as the opposition leader, had the opinion to be interact with the social platform with Arun Nehru, a brave man with a good intentions and a good mind, a social worker. The man may die, but no his remarks. I and my party pay my condolences to the bereaved family.
The House may silence for Arun Nehru to express our deep sorrow. Secretary General may convey the message of condolence to the bereaved family. Now, moving to the next business, Prime Minister to introduce new ministers.
Speaker Madam, I have pleasure in introducing to you and through you to the House my colleagues, the new Minister, Ms. Trishna Vijay, Minister of Women and Child Development.
Now, moving to the question hour, and the question hour starts now. Question number 101, Miss Krishnendu SH.
Speaker Ma'am, I would like to ask my question to Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs. White House had issued a order extending restrictions on the entry of immigrants and non-immigrants, including H-1B visas. What steps had been taken by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs about it?
Minister of External Affairs, please.
Yes, ma'am. The ex-US President Mr. Donald Trump signed the executive order on June 22 restricting foreign nationals from entering US by using the temporary visa through the end of the year. The visa restriction have been extended till March 31, 2021 by the Trump administration. We are aware of that fact, and this is likely to affect movement of skilled Indian professionals who avail of these non-immigrant visa programs to work lawfully in the US. We are evaluating the impact of the order on Indian nationals as well as the industries in consultation with the stakeholders. Furthermore, the new US government under President Joe Biden has proposed an immigration reform bill which will be beneficial for H-1B visa holders. That's it.
Moving to the next question, question number 102, Abhinand A. Biju.
Speaker Madam, Honorable Defense Minister, please to be say that what the government have done, they have done the soldier killing of soldier in the border by the Pakistan. That's all.
Minister of Defense, please.
Yes, ma'am. Pakistan's army is wrong. The attack will not be denied. Every Indian's heart burns with anger and the blood boils. As a defense minister, I have to do something, and I will do everything possible in this regard. Those who in the Pakistan who are responsible for the brutal killing would be brought up. India is answered for the discussion with Pakistan. Proper compensation have been given to the families of the soldiers. I assure that the House that our government will take necessary measure to uphold the sanctity of the nation. Yeah, that's all.
Moving to the next question, question number 103, Jeevan Krishna.
Speaker Madam, will the Honorable Finance Minister be pleased to say whether the government have received the representations that there should be parity of prices between the agricultural and industrial commodities? If so, the reaction of government thereof.
Honorable Minister of Finance.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, here is my answers. Yes, we got a representation and it makes sense. Everyone is know that both agriculture and industries are interdependent. So some raw materials for the agriculture are taken from industries, and some raw materials for the industries are also taken from agriculture. So we have set a new team to study on your topic, and the report will be overviewed, and the further decision will be taken as per the final report. That's all.
Moving to the fourth question, question number 104, Krishna.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Railways be pleased to state whether any special plans is in the offing to upgrade the standard of railway stations? If so, the steps being taken in this regard?
Honorable Minister for Railways.
Speaker Madam, we have taken several measures for safety improvement, including massive renewal of railway tracks, effective track maintenance, stringent monitoring of safety aspects, improvements in signaling systems, and use of modern technology for safety works, commissioning of new line, doubling and gauge conversion increased to 2,226 kilometers in 2019-20. We have also undertaken several measures to increase the speed of both passenger and freight trains. More than 300 kilometers of dedicated freight corridor, which will enable freight trains to run at speed of 100 km per hour, is under construction. The punctuality of trains has also improved significantly by nearly 10% over the last year.
Question number 105, Anfas.
Will the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs be pleased to state, is it necessary to build a new parliamentary building at such a huge cost during the corona era itself? B. What about the current parliamentary building? C. Wouldn't it be better to use this money to help farmers or in any other productive sector or in strengthening the defense?
Honorable Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. Honorable Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, please. Minister, we are unable to hear you. Honorable Member Anfas, your question's answer will be answered at the last time. So moving to the next question, opposition member, please. Opposition member, please.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, 2 साल पहले स्वच्छ भारत अभियान, जिसमें आपकी सरकार ने बहुत ही ज्यादा प्रचार किया था, उसमें उसका दक्षता कितना था? इसमें देश के कितना श्रम शक्ति और पैसा खर्च हुआ? क्या इस सरकार भी स्वच्छता के ऊपर एक और अभियान का योजना कर रही है और क्या इसका फल हमें मिल पाया है?
Honorable Prime Minister.
माननीय महोदया, स्वच्छ भारत के ये जो अभियान थे, इसकी औपचारिक योजना हमने 2014 में किया था। उस समय ही हमने ये बताया था कि ये सिर्फ सरकार का कर्तव्य नहीं, बल्कि भारत का हर नागरिक का जिम्मेदारी है। 2 अक्टूबर 2019 को गांधी जी की 150 की जयंती के अवसर पर हमने उनकी स्वच्छ भारत की स्वप्न पूरा करने के दृढ़ निश्चय किया था, पर हमें बापूजी की ये सपना पूरा नहीं कर पाया। हमारी ये उम्मीद थी कि सभी लोग देशभक्ति और जनस्वास्थ्य के प्रति जोड़कर ये अभियान को देखें, पर कुछ लोग राजनीतिक चश्मे पहनकर उनकी तरफ से इस अभियान को देखा, इसलिए हम ये स्वप्न पूरा करने में कामयाब नहीं हो पाया। अगर सभी लोग ये तय कर ले कि हम गंदगी नहीं करेंगे तो हम ये स्वप्न पूरा कर पाता। आपका दूसरा प्रश्न का उत्तर है, हमने इस स्वच्छ भारत अभियान के ऊपर 4000 करोड़ रुपया खर्च किए। आपका तीसरा प्रश्न का उत्तर है, हम इस स्वच्छ भारत अभियान का दूसरा भाग इसी साल में तैयार करेंगे और हम 4 साल के अंदर बापूजी का स्वप्न पूरा करेगा।
Moving to the seventh question, Arja, Honorable Member Arja.
Speaker, I would like to ask my question to Water Authority Minister.
You can continue, please.
Respected ma'am, what are the steps taken by the government under the program to tackle the problem of drinking water quality?
Honorable Minister Jal Shakti.
The government has taken many steps to solve problem. The NDRPWP has been restricted, wherein 10% weightage for making allocation of funds to states or union territories is based on population residency in habitations having affected by chemical contaminants. 2% of total allocation is earmarked for Japanese encephalitis or acute encephalitis syndrome affected districts. And rupees 2,421.64 crores have been released till 5th January under National Water Quality Submission to provide safe drinking water to arsenic or fluoride affected habitants. 5% of every release can be utilized for water quality monitoring and surveillance activities.
Question number 108. Respected Member Vismaya.
Mr. Ma'am, I would like to ask my question to Education Minister. How the children are influenced by the new education policy?
Honorable Minister for Education, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam. The National Education Policy provides skill-based education to the students, thereby enhancing creative and practical learning among students. This initiative emphasizes the importance of practical knowledge, which will be a great use for students.
Moving to the next question, question number 109, Adityan.
Honorable Speaker, ma'am, will the Minister of Defense be pleased to state whether the government is aware of the recent technology weaponry in the Pakistani armed forces? If so, whether the government proposes to review the existing state of technology of defense preparedness of the country's armed force, and the details of any other steps that the government proposes to take to meet the situation.
Honorable Minister for Defense.
Speaker, ma'am, yes, the government is aware of the recent weapon technology in Pakistan. From the recent years, Pakistan Armed Force is developing their technology. They are the sixth largest in the world active military forces, which consist of Army, Navy, and Air Force. We have a well-prepared armed force and technician and a good set of team. We will face this together. My answer for the third question is 1963 Sino-Pakistan Agreement The Pakistan has close relation with China, and they are joining to develop the JF-17 and K and various systems. China are suppliers for the Pakistan, and we have a great supplier like US, and we believe in them, and we have a good terms of good team to protect against them. We have approximately same number of warheads and nuclear arsenals. However, we will fight together. We have taken measures taken to provide to full security of the Indians and fully fetch army to support Indian military. Thank you.
Question number 110, Honorable Member Kartiga.
Respected Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Road Transport and Highways be pleased to state, Madam, in our country, a number of people, especially the youth, dies in road accidents. Main reasons are overspeeding, drunken driving, distractions to the driver, avoiding safety gear like helmets and seatbelts. My question is that what are the steps taken by the ministry to awake the common people about traffic rules and punishments of its violation?
Honorable Minister for Transportation, please.
Respected Speaker, Madam, I want to convey that the government had taken sufficient effort in awareing citizens about the severity of neglecting traffic rules. As a specialized effort, we had announced the National Road Safety Month from January 2021 to 17th February 2021, and we are organizing several programs such as developing technical innovations and providing exposure to students as to how to use tech in solving road safety issues, sensitizing the future drivers, that is today's children, about various aspects of road safety in a fun and colorful manner using age-based techniques, and spreading awareness by organizing and conducting online and offline interactive awareness activities and campaigns across the country for drivers, police forces, and pedestrians. Thank you.
Honorable Member, and first re-ask the question 105 to the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs.
Honorable Madam, is it necessary to build a new parliamentary building at such a huge cost during the corona era itself? B. What about the current parliamentary building? C. Wouldn't it be better to use this money to help farmers or in any other productive sector or to strengthen the defense sector?
Honorable Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, please.
Respected Speaker, Madam, the current Parliament building was began in 1921 and it was commissioned in 1927. Over the years, the parliamentary activities and the number of people working therein and the visitors have increased manifold. Hence, the building is showing signs of distress and overutilization. Further, with the reorganization of the constituencies, the number of Lok Sabha seats is likely to go up and the present building does not have any space to house any additional members. Thank you.
Now, the question hour is over. Moving to the breach of privilege. Opposition member, opposition leader.
Speaker, ma'am, a serious breach of privilege has been committed by a leading newspaper of Trivandrum while commenting on the parliamentary discipline.
Mr. Arjun, have you given the notice of it earlier?
Yes, I have given it before 10 a.m. today.
Okay, then. It will be examined when it comes to me. I shall consider it and let you know my decision.
Thank you.
Now, moving to the papers to be led on. Honorable Minister for Minority Affairs to lay the papers.
Speaker, ma'am, I beg to lay on the table of a copy of each of the following papers under the subsection 1. Statement regarding reviews by the government of working of the Maulana Azad Education Foundation New Delhi for the year 2020-2021. Review by the government of the working of the National Minorities Development and Finance Corporation Delhi for the year 2020-2021. Annual report of the National Minorities Development and Finance Corporation Delhi for the year 2020-2021, along with the audited accounts and comments of the Comptroller and Auditor General thereon. Detailed demands for grants of the Minority of Ministry Affairs, Minister year 2020-2021.
Now the Parliament will be seated by the Deputy Speaker.
Secretary to report message from upper chamber of Youth Parliament.
In accordance with the rules and procedure and conduct of business in the upper chamber of Youth Parliament, I am delighted to entrust a copy of the legal license bill 2021, which has been passed by the upper chamber at its sitting held on 23rd January 2021.
Secretary to lay on the table a copy of the bill as passed by the upper chamber.
Madam, I lay on the table of the House the legal license bill 2021 as passed by the upper chamber.
Honorable members, I have to make an announcement. On my own behalf of the honorable members of the House, I have great pleasure in extending our warm welcome to His Excellency Mr. Lindsay Hoyle, Speaker of the British Parliament, and the honorable members of the British Parliamentary Delegation who are on a visit to India as our honored guests. The other honorable members of the delegation are Ms. Preeti Patel, Home Minister, Ms. Elizabeth Press, Minister of Women and Equalities, and Mr. Rishi Sunak, Finance Minister. It is a very high-powered delegation. The delegation arrived on 24th January 2021, Sunday. So they are now seated in the special box. We wish them a happy and fruitful stay in our country. Now let us take up the calling attention motion. Ms. Karthika, please call the attention of the Agriculture Minister.
Speaker, Madam, really I have to thank the Chair for giving me an opportunity to call the attention of the Agriculture Minister for taking up the decision with regard to the situation arising out of the inadequate supply of food and grains to the state by the centre. That too at the time when my own state is not in the position to feed the people of Kerala even for 3 to 4 weeks.
Yes. Agriculture Minister, please. Agriculture Minister, please. Ms. Karthika, we will conduct it later.
Thank you, Madam.
Now, moving to the next business of today's session, introducing the new National Educational Policy Bill of 2020 by the Minister of Education.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to move for leave to introduce a bill further to amend the National Education Policy Bill of 2020. Madam, I introduce the bill.
The question is that leave be granted to introduce a bill further to amend the National Educational Policy Bill of 2020. Those who are in favor will please say aye.
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 Those who are against, please say no.
No. No.
I think the ayes have it The eyes have it. The eyes have it. Live is grandeur. Now, the House will take up the consideration of the National Educational Policy Bill of 2020. Educational Minister, please.
Speaker, Madam, I beg to move that this National Education Policy 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century and aims to address the many growing developmental imperatives of our country. Education is fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. Providing universal access to quality education is the key to India's continued ascent and leadership on the global stage in terms of economic growth, national integration, and cultural preservation. This policy proposes the revision and revamping of all aspects of education structure, including its regulation and governance, to create a new system that is aligned with the aspiration goals of 21st century education, while building upon India's traditions and value systems. The national education policy lays particular emphasis on the developmental of creative potential of each individual. It is based on the principle that education must develop not only cognitive capacities such as critical thinking and problem solving, but also social, ethical, and emotional capacities and dispositions. The purpose of the education system is to develop good human beings capable of rational thought and action, possessing compassion and empathy, courage and resilience, scientific temper and creative imagination, with sound ethical moorings and values. It aims at producing engaged, productive, and contributing citizens for building an equitable, inclusive, and plural society as envisaged by our Constitution. Currently, children in the age group of 3 to 6 are not covered in the 10 plus 2 structure, as class 1 begins at age 6. In the new 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure, a strong base of early childhood care and education from age 3 is also included, which is aimed at promoting better overall learning, development, and well being. That's all.
Okay, now the bill being introduced, we will move on to the discussion related to the National Educational Policy Bill of 2020 between the ruling party and the opposition. Any arguments or comments from the opposition, please?
Speaker, ma'am.
Yes, you can continue.
So how does this new education policy enhance the Indian culture?
Answer for the question by the opposition leader.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, this new education policy aims at the creative and practical learning of students by engaging cultural and traditional values of India. Thereby, we can instill culture and tradition of India in the minds of children.
Any more supplementary questions, Arjun?
No.
Any other questions from the opposition, please? Any more questions from the opposition, please? Okay, the bill being introduced, I shall decide whether to approve of this. Those who are in favor will please say aye.
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 Aye. Those who are against, please say no.
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 I think the ayes have it. Ayes have it. Ayes have it. The bill is introduced. So, today's session is over. The assembly is adjourned to meet again tomorrow at 11 a.m.